Welcome to the My Friend Had a Baby podcast with Scott and Alex. This episode contains rude words.
My friend had a baby, now he don't sleep no more. Waves crash in his eyes, tides on the nursery floor. Oh, my friend had a baby.
Welcome to the My Friend Had a Baby podcast, all about parenting, babies and birth, hosted by two dads. This show will give you the insights into what it takes to raise kids from dad's point of view, with guests who actually know what they're talking about. My name is Alex and I'm joined by Scott. Welcome, Scott.
My name's Scott and I'm about to have baby number one, unlike my significantly experienced and fertile friend Alex. Not sure if I've yet earned the badge of dad yet. Dad to be on this end here.
Well, you think about it. Well, you think about it, you're part of the, it's a two-person thing for most families, I suppose. You generally have to be involved to make it all happen. So I think that's fair to call you a dad at this stage.
Do you get the title, though? Because the early part of the dad journey is, it's a 45-second process.
Are you a donor at this stage until the baby is born? Is that right?
Well, the 45 seconds includes the undressing component as well. So,
all right. I see you showing off over there, Mr. Marathon Man. Jeez.
Yeah. Look out, Captain Stamina. No, I'm a bit. I think as opposed to our gentler gender that has to do all of the carrying. Mm-hmm. I think once the baby's in there, your mum right from the get-go.
Yes.
I think until you actually start doing something as a provider of semen.
Yeah, I mean,
the title's like, you got to work for it, I feel.
Yeah,
you got to earn it.
That's fair. I mean, Scott, the journey here being is that I'm about to have my third kid with two already here. And I guess I'm able to share my experience with you of what you can expect with yours that you've got on the way.
I am very much expecting it to be similar to my afternoon today, which was I ate too many party pies and then had a nap on the couch until it was time to wake up and do this podcast. So I assume that's parenthood.
Yeah, there are party pies involved, especially when you just want to feed the children. Just throw some party pies in the oven. Like, here you go, guys. It's mildly nutritious. You'll be fine.
I have once. I'll just quick, sidebar on that. I have once bought, and this is a clear demonstration of the level of my insecurity. And this is a very embarrassing true story. Once, while hungover, I bought so much freezer shit, party pies, sausage rolls, and lollies, and other random odds and sods. When I looked down at my basket, I thought there's only one way out of this. I went and bought a fourth birthday card as well so that I didn't get judged at the checkout. I put that on first. I was like, you got a fourth birthday. So, yeah, absolutely. This food's all for me.
That's what I'm doing.
You think I'm some kind of farm animal?
So both of our partners are out of their first trimester, I believe.
Yeah, mine's just turning the corner. So on paper, we're a couple of days away from that grand leap into second trimester. So that's going to be fraught with its own stress and anxiety, I assume. Mm-hmm. Trimester number one certainly was full of non-stop panic and anxiety on both of us. So.
That's very true. And my partner, she is about 14 weeks, which I think is actually what's really exciting about this is that we're both sharing same but different journeys where we've got an idea of what's coming. You've got no idea of what's coming, but at the end, we're going to be hitting the finish line at very, very similar times. I think that's
were number one and number two, were they on schedule or were they early arrivals, late arrivals, to be dragged out?
So
in here, it's warm.
So number one was, I think she was ripped out a couple of weeks early. I'm going to be corrected on so many of these facts. I know after the episode comes out. And I'm going to be fact-checked so many times and I'm going to come in with amendments for the next episode. So number one was brought out a little bit earlier because there was preeclampsia risk. She was pulled out a little bit early, not out the sunroof. Number two was also pulled out just only a week or so early because the pregnancy was having something called polyhydramnios, which is excess amniotic fluid. So my wife looked like she had twins. And I look forward to sharing the story at some point of popping the pin on that, if you will, because that was quite the visual.
Visceral. That's a visceral experience, that one.
What's the first 12 weeks been like for you guys?
It's been really weird, right? So here's the thing. Being a late comer, no pun intended, to the parenting game, it's been interesting because we're sort of breaking the news to a lot of people who sort of thought that maybe we weren't having kids. And so we've had quite, we've been completely blown away by the level of positivity that we've had and all the love and support, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it's been very interesting because my wife, Malaf, has not had much in the way of symptoms. Mm-hmm. So outside of a bit of fatigue, a little bit of food aversion, it's sort of like not the Hollywood-style pregnancy where she's running to the bathroom every morning, vomiting, which is, I think we were both expecting that, that was going to be there. And funnily, because you come into the game with this preconception of what it's all going to look like, when that doesn't happen, that then leads to, holy shit, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something bad is happening. So
yep.
We've been fortunate enough to be able to go through the private system for us, very fancy, which means we've been eligible for a couple of extra scans along the way. So that's helped to keep the fears at bay. But it's been really bizarre, like in the sense that, we've obviously tapered back some components of our lives, like she only stays out drinking until 2 a.m. instead of 4 a.m. now. No drinking. No. I kind of expected it to look and feel very differently from what it was. So far, been pretty normal, kind of run-of-the-mill, day in, day out stuff.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, what about for you guys?
It's been an absolute shit show. I can't remember which one of the first two she experienced the classic morning sickness, which is more technically day sickness because it's all day. This one's been nasty. This one's been a real rocky road in terms of just fatigue, feeling unwell. She's held everything down like a legend. I don't think there's been one rush to the bathroom yet, but there's been a lot of close moments where I might trigger something, or I took great joy in pretending to vomit the other day just to see what would happen. You do that, and that was apparently very triggering, and it was very, very funny, but only to me, apparently.
A-grade comedy right there.
I mean, I'm a dad now. I've been a dad for 5 years, so like I feel like I've qualified those moments to be able to do the dad joke funny stuff. Apparently not, but I guess pick your audience. It's been a nasty journey, but it's funny, these are all the signs of pregnancy, but they're not at all fun. I mean, we're still probably 2 months away from her even feeling anything. And with both our first pregnancies, she didn't feel anything until about 20 weeks because she had the classic of the placenta on the front, which is something that can delay the feeling of being, when you can feel the baby doing stuff. Tell you what, later on when you get in the third trimester, when you see that thing kicking through like a scene out of Alien, that is one thing for some reason I just cannot handle it. Just seeing this thing trying to high-five you through the womb.
Well, we've got that scan this week. Placenta location, front, side, upside down. Placenta's inside the baby wearing placenta as a hat.
Yeah,
like all those various positions it could be in. It's I didn't know that. That's something I didn't know, that placenta location was indicative of the type of symptoms you could be having.
Have you had any of the classic, the Hollywood cravings of strange things in the middle of the night?
She's mentioned to me about having a craving for McDonald's hotcakes at midnight on one occasion. However, when she asked me, do you think that's a pregnancy craving, I sort of said, well, no, that's kind of something you would just say. And
you're just like, yeah, me too, sure. Like, yeah, no worries.
and of all times to get it now, they've done away with the 24-hour breakfast. It's literally impossible to get a hold of hotcakes at that hour. But there's been a bit of food aversion as opposed to cravings along the way. And this kid is already paying dividends, hates seafood, and I hate seafood, right? So this kid's come in and finally sealed the deal that I've been trying to execute for 11 years of marriage and nearly 15 years of relationship to get seafood off the menu. And to make it even better, it's on the back of me, Scott, your friend, trying to be a good husband. So wifey loves a bit of seafood, sort of chowdery business, all that kind of, milk and fish and, things that, obviously go together really well.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you heard of seafood chowder? Have you heard of seafood? It's milk. It's fish boiled in milk. Disgusting.
I'm out.
So I thought what I'll do is I'll make a nice big pot of this chowder and I'll bag up the seafood individually because she's pregnant and she loves it and it's protein heavy and it's full of good food. So all she's got to do is take a few ladles out of this pot of creamy, sort of fish stocky, poisonous broth, chuck it on the stove, upend a bag of this seafood into it that I've already pre-rationed, boil it up and you're good to go. Day 2, that was she was like,
no dice, not interested.
Not happening. No way.
Was there was it the microwaving of it or was it the first sip?
No microwaving of. So like I very specifically made it so that a couple ladles in on the stove and then it's got to come to a boil and then the seafood goes in for a few minutes. But just the concept of it, the idea of getting it out of the fridge, didn't even make it to the bowl.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, it's great. This pregnancy is really in my favour.
Working in your favour so far. I think for my wife, the sign that she was even pregnant, where it was like we probably didn't even need to do the pea stick test, was that she went off tea. Huge tea drinker, and then consistently through every pregnancy so far, it's tea. She couldn't have tea anymore. And then one day I was like, I'm not really enjoying this tea. Then immediately went and peed on a stick. And then, sure enough, there we go. Number 3 on its way, which is
I'd be happy with that too. I'd be happy with that as an outcome. Tea is a waste of time. It's just
flavoured water, flavoured warm water.
Not even. It's flavoured water, but it's poorly flavoured.
Well, I look forward to the feedback that we get on this. Imagine that, like all of our, if we get any reviews for this podcast, and just they've got poor taste in tea. Yeah,
I hate seafood and tea.
Seafood and
tea.
Tea.
At least Scott does. Alex is the good one. It's
like, I'll take
he
what
likes
I can
normal
get.
things.
Yeah, how
like milky fish.
Milky. Ugh. I'm not sure if I. Yeah, we'll see how it go. How's it gone for you being number 1? And perhaps you can share a little bit about your journey so far with telling people, and also you've mentioned in the past, when we've talked about this, how some medical professionals are like, you're how old? Tell everyone a bit about that, and then what it's been like telling your respective families.
Well, let's talk like timeline and age related stuff first of all, because I think there's a certain immaturity you maintain by not having children, and by not having, and living that hashtag selfish life where you're a little bit better rested.
What is
like
rest?
yourself? You're Mr. Clean compared to me now, compared to when we were in uni together.
Oh,
you could throw down a sheet with the best of them, whereas now you got that dad voice. You got that calming dad voice where it's more of a crud or an oh dear. Whereas when you meet someone who's got no kids like me, that'll happily walk into a room and be pointing at things and saying, fuck that, fuck this, rah, rah. My wife has already said that's got to go. That's a big part of your personality that needs to be erased immediately. But going in and talking to medical professionals, and we've been at it for a few years now, sort of off and on. And for them, like we walk in and we're, got that youthful kind of, immaturity. You're just coming across like you're a bit younger than you actually are, because the absolute trauma of child rearing has not beaten you into submission as of yet. And doctors being like, okay, well, this is it. You're in geriatric territory. Oh. And me being like, oh dear, that's not good. And the doctor being like, oh no, you're fine. Like you got like another 40 years. Like you just keep blasting away. That's no problem. And looking at my wife and being like, you, however,
oh no,
oh man, you're in hot water right now.
That's it.
And then the doctor looking at me and being like, you're all right. Like,
it's such an awful term, isn't it? Geriatric pregnancy.
Yeah, it's horrid. It's a horrid thing. And it's one of those moments where you do really recognize that general fertility and so much certainly favors the males in the equation, or the provider of the semen. What was the second part of your question? Something about
telling how you
telling the family.
Telling the family, yeah.
Quite a few members of our family were sort of like, nah, they're not doing it. We realized, particularly telling my family, that there was a component of them just assuming that it just never was going to happen, or because we're not particularly sharing and caring on my family. You know, we're sort of like, just be here at this time and bring money and we're having dinner.
Yeah.
Like no other sort of like, warm and fuzzies that happen there. But you could sort of see in their eyes, they were like, oh shit, that's happening. Like, you're doing that. Whereas on my wife's side of things, it was very hallmark. You know, lots of jumping up and down and cheering and high-fiving and hugging, and it was all very beautiful.
Yeah.
Sort of flashback to my family, you know, the swamp people that we are, being like, oh God, who's going to look after this thing? So yeah, I jest though. They were very excited as well. So honestly, you probably couldn't ask for a better response.
Yeah,
you know, in a lot of sort of ways of looking at things, especially when you consider, like in my family, I don't know about yours, and I'll stop yabbering in a second because I do want to get your answer on this as well. But on my side of the family, every parent that has parented or has created life has done so very young, and it's been met with a complete sense of overload and panic. So to be at the opposite end of the spectrum, where it's like, oh, you guys are established and yeah, you can afford to, you know, get the child a bed that has legs.
Yep.
As opposed to, oh my God, like, quick, we need to start collecting old Coles bags to sort of stuff into and tear them up and stuff them into a garbage bag so the kid's got something to sleep.
So I hope you've been collecting your hair for the pillow.
So yeah, anyway, that's been my experience so far. What about yourself? How has your family and your wife's family responded to everything?
It's been really good. We had the pleasure of on my side of the family, our first child being the first grandchild for my parents. So that was really exciting when that all happened. There are plenty more grandchildren now on that side. And when we had number one for my wife's side, that was like number 6 in the family. So it was like, oh, very good. It was everyone was of course very excited. But specifically for number 3, it's been interesting because for the most part, everyone is super duper excited, and that's always fun. So every time you tell someone, it's really good. Like for our first 2, they were very quick. We were able to get them in the oven really quickly, really easily. Number 3's taken a couple of years, and it's taken a couple of losses as well. And to get to this point, people are aware of that narrative. So when you tell them, it's a mixture of relief and like happiness for us. And also because it's number 3, there are other people in the family and people that we know that have had multiple kids, and they just go, are you mental? We're also really, really, really excited for you, but holy shit, do you know what you're in for? And we just figured, how hard could it be going from 2 to 3? Let me tell you this, from 1 to 2, that was a nightmare. Just starting to juggle, like number 1, thinking about not just having one kid now, I'm just like, that's easy. That's a dream. I'm probably offending many people here by me saying just one's easy. But people warned us on like from the jump from 1 to 2, I've had like Alex, do you know how hard it is to jump from 1 to 2? And of course, in my pure, naive, wonderful Disney world that I live in, I was just like, I'm sure it'll be fine. It won't be a problem at all. We've got all the clothes already. We've got all the things. We've got everything good to go. It was an absolute nightmare. Going from juggling from 1 to 2 was just really hard, as it turns out. I mean, who would have known? Well, apparently everyone who told us it was really hard knew. But I just was like, it'll be fine. So we figured with the jump from 2 to 3, it'll be fine. And the perspective from a lot of people around us, when I think about it now, of them saying this is going to be really hard, I just don't believe them. I just choose to live in some sort of naivety and it'll be fine.
I work with a guy who's about to have number 5. Right, and he's a guy who's readily volunteered to come on here, almost as like a warning, come on and just be like, don't. Like that's too many. And he's the same age as us. Talk about seeing someone with the soul sucked out of him. Like, he's that's probably another interesting question to ask you though. Has it always been 3? Have you always wanted 3?
My wife wanted 4, but we negotiated. We negotiated
so many.
We negotiated down to 3. I just think, the jump to 4, all of a sudden you are getting into custom vehicle territory. More beds. Like our house can probably comfortably fit 3 kids, but man, 4.
4 kids, you're talking custom vehicle and a trailer, to get them to school.
Yeah, you just...
God forbid one of them wants to play like the trombone or something like that. What are you going to do then?
There's probably a note for the audience. Have you got more than 3 kids? Let us know what it's like. Should probably set up an email or something for people to send in their questions or their stories. I think that's a good idea. We'll do that at some point.
That's a good idea. That's good. It's good power business move. I will say I find it wildly impressive when people pull off having that many kids. Because I have interacted with some families where they've got that many kids and they just, it's the full-blown bizarre positivity, everyone loves each other kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But then I've met other families where they've got a shitload of kids and it's very obvious one of them is not the favorite. It's so obvious that they've got they've got 5 kids for argument's sake. This is a, hypothetical. This is a
purely hypothetical situation.
It's purely hypothetical.
Sure.
They got 5 kids, and 4 of them are just, they're dope. They're just great kids, and they're just friendly. And you just have one that's just like a gremlin. He's, is that strawberry kind of syrup, or is that blood, or you're trying to piece it together, and he's playing with animal bones and stuff like that, and you're kind of it's too what are you doing? But you can see why they've gone for 5 because the other 4 are so good. But then they got number 5, oh God, no.
But they're probably
regretty and meatballs right there.
Probably the one that ends up being most successful or something like that.
It ends up being like a Musk or something, and then writes a big, memoir about how the family only let him play with animal bones and eat
and
challenge
them to become the leader that they are today. I guess maybe that's what you could roll with. How many at this point? I'm thinking. Okay, so end of the first trimester, we just had our 12-week growth scan the other day and a few other tests. This one was really interesting because this was I had to actually, I remember at the scan when we were having, I was like, so what's this test called and what does it do? And so this was the nuchal test at around 12 weeks where they scan the baby for all, and it looks like a baby at this point. Well, it looks like a little mini human thing. And this thing was around kicking, doing fly kicks. It was hilarious. We got a little video of it. So they do this test between about 11 and 14 weeks. And when you talk about having access through the private system where you get more scans, I think sometimes that can also lead to more anxiety because with every test you're going, okay, is the heartbeat still there? Is it all still normal? They're like, yeah, we'll get you the results soon. You're like, is something going to be wrong with my kid? It's like you get the nest test as well, which is where they can do all sorts of chromosomal tests too, and you're sort of sitting in that anxiety for a little while about, is my kid going to have an issue, and is something going to have to, we're all flowers and meadows at the moment, but is that going to change in a moment because all of a sudden they come back high risk particularly for something? But back to talking about this test is that with the nuchal test, they do this thing where they measure the fluid thickness at the back of the baby's neck, and they do it with a blood test as well of some pregnancy hormones. But basically it can test if there's risk for conditions like Down syndrome. And you have that anxiety all the time of for us, everything turned out fine and it's great. But sometimes you got to have that thought in your head, what do we do if our baby's at high risk for something that's going to have a real impact on their lives? And you sort of sit in that anxiety for quite a while, and hopefully you can share that equally with your partner. But how have you guys gone so far with all the little bumps along the way with number 1 especially?
Man, there was a couple of little high anxiety moments recently, and the blood test, the NIPT test, the non-invasive prenatal testing, which is the one you were talking about before, where they're testing for various sort of chromosomal issues, and where you can also find out the gender as well, which we certainly did, because God, that's why I have to do my birthday shopping like a week before someone's birthday. I just can't control myself. We had that blood test. Then while we're waiting for that blood test or the results of that blood test, my wife actually went through a period of spotting, which was the first time that had happened. And it was, we're at that sort of still, it's a lower risk, but we're still in a high risk zone. Anything could really happen during that period. That was, oh man, full blown panic on both of our behalfs, like absolute full blown panic. To make matters worse, I'm just coming out of the back of the flu. Have you heard of it? It's not great. Do not recommend. So I couldn't even go with her to the sort of safety scan. So I'm there. We called up the place and we're like, look, we've got the spotting situation. They've said, yep, get in here. Let's get a scan happening today. Yep. Which we were eternally grateful for. And then they heard me rasping and sort of wheezing in the background. And they said, well, don't bring in that pit bull with you that you've got. And so I had to sit, sort of anxiously on speakerphone, kind of hearing every third word from the OB. Gosh. Fortunately, look, all was well. False alarm, nothing dramatic was going on. But, man, it's nuts what this pregnancy stuff does to you. Like, it actually makes you really anxious and terrified. And it's interesting what you said before about the scans and the blood tests and everything like that, because we got offered, or we didn't get offered. Someone suggested it. They said, oh, you should get the thing. Like, you get a little wand you have at home. You can scan yourself to your heart's delight. Yeah. You do 50 scans a day if you want. And we were at in the heat of the moment, we're like, because we just had the first scan. We're very excited. We've just seen the heartbeat. We're, completely pumped about that. And then I realized, like, I can't even wear a smartwatch because I compulsively check, and then in the process of compulsively checking, I convince myself that I'm dying. The worst health anxiety of anyone that you'll meet. I was ironic working in the health field. I had to stop doing that. And so we had to have a very serious talk of, do we subject ourselves to that, to having that tool in the house where we will both want to compulsively check all the time? And then if the heart rate's up or down by 1 beat a minute, what are we going to do then? Yeah. And we ended up opting out and going, no way.
What does this magic wand do?
Oh, it's just basically like, I don't know, you put it on the tum and you can hear the heartbeat and other sort of various vitals.
Oh, wow.
So it's not as in-depth as an ultrasound or anything like that, but you can hear shit happening. Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll send it through to you.
Well, maybe we'll discuss that in the next episode. Maybe some magic tools for pregnancy. I remember that through our first 2 pregnancies, and we're sort of getting used to it now with the third. But just like, how many scans does a person need? But then you get that reassurance as a result of having that sometimes, and you get to see the baby develop, and you get to see bits and pieces. I remember with our first and seeing a spine for the first time. I'm like, that's inside you. And then with our second, I was like, you're growing a penis inside of you, which I don't know, I just found that really funny. So it's interesting you talk about spotting, because that is something that my wife has experienced through all of her pregnancies. And with this third one now, we went through that initial, like, oh my God, with number 1 was like, there's spotting, oh my gosh, let's get in straight away, let's get a scan, and there are 1,000 things that it could be. Of course, there are some serious things that it could be. But in our case, my wife might kind of go, just spotting a bit today. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. And then she might call the obstetrician's office and they'll be like, yeah, you can come in if you want, but there's, describe it to us. Oh, it's light. It's like, yeah, don't worry about it, you're fine. If it changes, let us know. And that's it.
I kind of almost want that reaction. Like, I wouldn't mind a little bit of a blasé reaction as opposed to, right, get in here today. You're getting a scan.
Don't get me wrong. We had that, like with number 1, I think we were actually really far along. Like, we were in the late 20 weeks, early 30s, and some spotting happened. We're like, what's happening? And we went in and they were like, okay, if this gets revealed to be this particular thing, you're delivering this baby today. And I'm like, what? We're like 2 months away from meant to be having this thing, and you could be having it today. And like, yep, that could be happening today. And like your life sort of flashes before you guys. Like, I don't have a seat in the car yet. Like, I haven't built the bed. We haven't bought nappies yet. And all of a sudden it's thrown in your face. You might be having this child now. I was like, no, don't put a plug in there or something.
Sew it up.
Which, funnily enough, was going to be the solution for the problem that was potentially happening, which was a narrowing of the cervix, which is another thing. It's like, yeah, it's just your body getting ready to do the thing where it pushes it out and it does the miracle of birth and it opens up.
Miracle of birth. The human body it's a horror show. Like, when you hear about all the things it does, like, yes, it's great that in the end it results in a baby that you can love and nourish and pass down your family trauma to. But like, it's everything the body does in the lead up to that is just terrifying. And again, another huge luxury of being male and not having to carry the baby. I'm reading the books, I'm doing the things, and I'm doing the Googling and reading all the articles and so forth. I'm trying to sort of be involved with it. But as an outsider, I look at it and I'm like, selfishly, I'm like, oh my God, like, this is a tough read. And then I have to remind myself, no, wait a minute. You're just reading about it and looking at pictures of it. Your wife is about to just experience that. Maybe stop being such a dipshit and just read about it and stop being you know what I mean?
Well, I will say this. I read one of the books about birthing or whatever, and I was dropping some facts in the delivery room, and I can tell you what, the nurses were impressed. They're like, wow, you know so much about this. This is so impressive. I'm like, I know, I read a book. It's like, okay, this is where we do the breathing and we do all the things and this and that. And, it was helpful, I guess, for me just to like reduce that anxiety because I knew what was coming. I'm like, okay, this is where this is happening. I read this in chapter 3. Don't worry about it. Well, this is all good. Meanwhile, my hand is being crushed through the agonizing pain, apparently, of giving birth, which I can only assume, and what I've been told, is awful. But talking about pregnancy, and this is the segment that I want to do every week, which is Word of the Week. So if anyone has any suggestions that are pregnancy-related words or phrases, do let us know. And Scott, I think we'll get one from you next week, but I thought I'd do the first one this week before we jump into a quick break. This Word of the Week is mucus plug. And I'd like to, with Word of the Week, I think we need to project the vulnerabilities of all of us and the sensitivities where we think, oh, pregnancy is a wonderful thing and it's lovely and it's all suns and flowers and whatnot. But no, there are some harsh realities, and a mucus plug is one of them. And I'd like to read you, this is something to look forward to. And look, this is something you could talk to your partner about, your wife, your beautiful wife who I've met.
I told you I'm struggling to read about this stuff.
No, it's
and
fine.
You immediately launch into this.
Don't worry about it. A mucus plug is a wonder of pregnancy, okay? So here we go. A mucus plug is a thick clump of mucus that forms in the cervical canal during pregnancy to block bacteria from entering the uterus. It is a normal part of pregnancy and is often shed as the cervix begins to soften and dilate in the weeks or days leading up to labour. Losing the mucus plug is considered the sign that labour is approaching, but does not mean labour is starting immediately. It can appear as a large, gelatinous blob, sometimes tinged with blood, and may come out all at once or in smaller pieces. Mucus plug.
Question for you as we go into the ad break here. Is the mucus plug akin to the placenta in the way that sometimes people eat it?
You know what? I'm going to let people decide that themselves. Personally, I never saw the mucus plug, but maybe I'll keep an eye out.
Bolognese. Very nice.
I'll keep an eye out for it. Hey, we'll be right back after the break.
Life lived like a coin. Oh, my friend had a baby. Chaos joined the joy. Diapers on the dashboard.
If you enjoyed this podcast, consider leaving a review. It helps people find this podcast. Share with your friends or family. Love my daddy!
numbers on the dashboard, milk stains on the moon. He says he's drowning in love, but man, it came too soon. Baseline pounding heartbeat, wah-wah guitar scream. Parenthood's a dubstep drop, not some easy dream. Oh, my friend had a baby.
Welcome back to the My Friend Had a Baby podcast. You're speaking with Scott and Alex, your two favourite dads or slash dad and dad to be.
Yes.
And I thought I'd start this because we have a little sort of history together, Alex and I, have on the spur of the moment coming up with things to stump each other, put each other on the spot in our previous life as radio hosts of a drinking-based radio show. Look how far we've come. Drinking on our dad podcast.
Yay!
And I would like to propose a new segment called How to Dad. And I would like our listeners to send through some questions that you may have on your mind. Alex is going to respond from the perspective of a well-rounded, responsible, existing father. And I will respond to the best of my ability. But you are talking to a guy who takes multiple days to put together simple flat-back furniture, so don't expect anything great out of me. I will give it a shot, though. Since it's episode number 1, I thought I'd throw it out there to Alex and say, my dad question for this week for How to Dad is, Alex, from your experience, in your opinion, how old is too old for your child to sit on your lap?
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, my word. Well, so far with me, it's 5 and 3, and that's not too old.
I thought you were going to say that it's 5 and 3, and you cut them both off at the same time.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yes. Daddy's got bursitis. No more laps.
Well, I tell you what, so at the moment, it's all, Mum, can Mum do this? I want Mum to do this. No, Mum has to do it. So it feels like they've been cut off, and I have cut them off, but I haven't. I want their love, but apparently they don't want to give it to me. I think maybe when a child becomes a teenager, do you sort of, but I don't know, like I feel like a kid's still a kid and vulnerable up till, but
we're taking out of the equation sort of like times where the kid is emotionally, needs support.
Sure.
Just like a kid, like, because kids like sitting on laps, right?
Yeah.
They do. It's cute and it's very rewarding, sort of like you're showing them how to do something, or they just love you and they just want to sit on your lap.
I think
what's the point when you look them in the eyes, when you look at your baby in the eye and you say, no, it's over.
Look, I think I would never say no if they needed that support. I'm thinking of myself going from primary school to high school, and me as a high schooler, I wouldn't want to go and sit on my parents' lap. Like, I don't know, I feel like you have that transition in maturity, but you're talking about me from a parenting perspective.
Like you're the parent. Like you've got to make the call. You've got a kid right now in this hypothetical situation that is happy to sit on your lap until they're 70. Like you need to tell them at some point it's over. You need to sit in your own chair.
I think this is more of a weight-bearing thing at this point. And how?
Well, if it's coming down to that, if you remember the gargantuan size of my family, all being 6 foot plus, mine's probably got to be like 4 at that rate. If we're talking like weight distribution,
yeah. I think it's a conversation that you probably have to have with your kid in that transition between primary school and high school, which for us in Australia is sort of between that transition from 12 to 13 years old. I don't know, like there's, yeah, I'll put it this way. I'm never going to deny my kids if they need that cuddle and a bit of, comfort and stuff. It's like I say to my parents sometimes, like, do you remember when the last time was that you picked me up? Can you think about that moment? When was the last time you physically held me off the ground? Which for them was probably by the time I was about 6.
Jesus, that's such a loaded question to ask your parents. Like, what do you, like, did you then ask them for money afterwards?
No. I was just like,
when was the last time you lifted me up? Well, let's quantify that in terms of the finances I'm about to ask you for. And I'm going to get you to lift me
You thought
up
I was heavy. Look at
financially now because of all of your failure to hold me over the years.
So you thought this was heavy. Check out this debt. No, I thought, because I heard that question asked in general. I thought, you know what, that's a really funny question to ask my parents. And I think I just made my mum sad.
I was going to say, I'm sad for your parents. Like, and the way that you delivered the question, I hope you didn't deliver it in that way to them, like in a very contemplating way, like you're saying goodbye to them.
No, I think I did.
It's like a question you ask to someone on their deathbed.
I think I did.
Do you remember the last time you picked me up? Let's have let me help you have that walk down memory lane before, I pull the plug on you.
Can you imagine? Oh, it'd be awful. It's like one last try. Remember
the last time you picked me up? It was nowhere near as heavy as the emotional intensity of me pulling this life support plug out. Bang!
Oh, that would be a way to go. I did ask it with that sort of sincerity because I feel like I have that relationship with my parents where I can make that sort of funny observation and they don't want to throttle me for it. I think to answer your question, I would maybe have that conversation around that transition from primary school to high school about sitting on my lap constantly still.
Okay, so what's that, sort of like 11, 12-ish?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
You? What are your thoughts on that?
Not to get too sociological about it or anything like that, but I would gauge my response based on the level of sort of social interaction my kid has. So I'm very conscious now as a late entry into the race of kids being picked on or my child being picked on because I haven't cut something off early that could potentially result in them being, developing some kind of shitty nickname or like have something for kids to sink the boots into.
It's like the last thing you want is like your kid to be called dad lap or something.
Yeah, or something weird like that, like, sit on your dad's lap. Because my kid's coming in with problems, right? Like it's entering the world with problems. This isn't a receding hairline. This is just 5 head. Like, so this kid's going to come in with a like landing strip, right? Straight off the bat. So that's going to be a problem. My wife and I both have terrible eyesight. We got the laser. You can't give laser eye surgery to a 4-year-old. I've checked. It's going to have the big forehead. It's going to have the glasses. My father was kind enough to pass down the big forehead, the bad eyesight, and a neurological tremor on top of it as well. So it's going to be shaky and have big Coke bottle glasses and so forth. So I think the worry is having too many sort of variables, like a mixing pot of opportunities for children to pile on. Because kids are notoriously a bit shitty like that. Like I think back to being a kid, right? And every bad nickname that a friend had or that someone that was in the broader social circle had developed was because of something really stupid that made no sense. Like a very old and near and dear friend of mine, whose name is also Alex, he developed the nickname Bottles at the age of, I think, 13 because he wore a shirt that had bottles on it.
Yep.
One time he wore a button-up shirt and it had like a Corona bottle, like had all the beer bottles on it, right? I don't know if you remember that when we were younger. And it was a button-up shirt and it was his nice going-out shirt when he was going to birthday parties, all that kind of thing. And remember, this is from country South Australia, so, as a 13-year-old, you have shirts with pictures of beer bottles on.
Of course.
But he developed the nickname Bottles that night. People still call him Bottles now. He's nearly 40. I'm sort of like, if the kid's going to develop a nickname, I don't want it to be as a result of something that I have done or I have not cut off in the past. So I would say probably somewhere in the same territory as you. However, if the child grows in height the way that I did when I was younger, because I was about 5 foot tall when I was 11. And 5 foot tall 11-year-old might as well be a 20-year-old.
Gotcha.
In the context of lap sitting. I'm going to assume that the kid is growing at a fast pace. So I'm going to say I'm going to cut it off potentially around 9, 10.
Okay. All right.
Maybe a year or two before your grand plan.
Oh, well, if our listeners out there have any other alternative ideas, please be sure to send them in. Now, Scott, I wanted to talk to you about, I think this is before we were recording, but for me, both of our three children so far have been natural. Yours has taken a bit longer and required some assistance and an interesting journey as a result of that. And I wanted to close out the podcast episode 1 today with your experience getting to number 1, because I wasn't aware that the process that you went through, I heard of natural and I've heard of IVF, but you sort of found somewhere in the middle.
Oh, the sweet spot in the middle. Yeah. So first of all, like, weird flex, bro. Like, coming in about the 3 naturals. It's like, I'm here getting a leg up, and you're just like,
what can I say?
Blasting fucking number 1 hits left, right, and center, sneezing near your wife, and she gets pregnant. No, I know you've had your own journey as well. So, look, we were trying for a few years, and kind of off and on, and we'd have excuses to stop, and then reasons to jump back on the bandwagon of let's have the kid, that type of thing. We moved from South Australia to Tasmania. We're closer to wife's family. It was like, look, it's now or never. We had that conversation about, look, geriatric pregnancy, doctor looking at me, winking, saying, not you, bro. You just keep fertilizing this earth. We meet with a fertility specialist, and the sweet spot in the middle is essentially it's a glorified turkey baster, right? It's a long, clear plastic tube.
Oh God.
And single use as well. Like, they haven't. It's like, shouldn't you be using a cardboard tube for this? I said, I'm pretty sure you can get like fertility tubes that are like pasta now, and they're biodegradable.
It's not like the soy fish from the sushi place. It's
you can't soy fish it in anymore.
Okay, gotcha.
Back in the days, you used to be able to have the soy fish. You'd suck up the man jam, and then you put the soy fish inside the lady, and she'd clench. She'd do a Kegel, and then it would get up there, and you'd be good to go. But not anymore. Now, no more. No more single-use plastic in fertility, except for the very, very long straw, which I will assume will end up in a turtle's throat or a dolphin's blowhole in the future.
It'll be one of those Peter videos of the straw being pulled out of the turtle nose, and it's like, oh, straws are ruining it. It's like, no, it's single-use fertility products.
Yeah, that's right. And as they say in the single-use fertility game, 1 in, 1 out, and that refers to 1 baby in and 1 ocean animal out.
Right.
And as a guy who hates seafood,
you're all for it. Okay.
That bloody ocean trash, they can all flush as far as I'm concerned. So, look, you go in, you have the thing, and they send you to the room, right? They send you to this room, the masturbation station, and you sort of walk in there, and because you got to be tested. You got the initial fertility test. It's there's no other way to put it. You're wanking into a cup, and it's a really bizarre experience where you go in there and everyone's doing the same thing. Like, it's the only time I've ever been in a room sober where everyone has actively known they're about to masturbate. Right. And right, everyone's kind of looking at each other, side glancing at each other, trying to scroll on your phone.
Hang on, is this a shared space, or are you talking about in like reception where like people
this is reception?
Oh, okay, you're in reception.
We're not all in
okay.
one room whacking off at the same time.
Gotcha,
just going to Pound Town, like back to back.
High fiving the fellas, high fiving the boys.
So go in there, and the first place that I had to go, which was the very clinical one. It's very sterile. You walk in there, and it's like a hospital sort of environment.
Sure.
Sort of, it's not in a hospital, but it's a hospital environment. You walk in, everything smells like bleach, and they give you the checklist, and they're like, "Have you done this? Have you done that? Have you taken any drugs? Are you plan on using any lube? Have you done this?" I'm like, no, I've just come here to wank. Like, I didn't come here to pass a test. Well, I did come to pass a test, but not this test.
Sure.
So you go in and you sort of walk down. You're led down this horrible little hallway by someone who has just, is questioning every life decision they've made to this point. And they're like, go in there, get in the room, get in the tube, get in the wank tube. It's like a cylinder drops around you, like Futurama style. Get in there and just get it done. And they're like, and put it in the bag. After it's done, after you wank in the cup, This is what they say. This is the clinical. After you finish wanking in the cup, put it in the brown paper bag, and then wash your hands. Give me the clipboard. Give me the brown paper bag. Don't make eye contact with me. Like, get out as quickly as you can.
They seem very specific about the washing of the hands.
It was like, wash your hands at every stage. Like, open the door, wash your hands, unzip your flyer, wash your hands. I was like, I walked out and I'm like, I'm all pruned up. and it was so funny. Like, as I say, put it in the brown paper bag. I'm like, why? Like, you know what's in there. Like, you're just going to take it back and open the brown paper bag anyway. Yeah. Like, this isn't a lunch order from school. Like, this is a cup full of semen, and you got to open it, and it's going to be semen. And you're at the end of the hallway. It's not even like I'm being exposed to anyone. So anyway, you do that process, and it's fine. And it comes back. So mine came back. They're like, yep, cool. You're in the range. We can fucking do it in the other place now. And I was like, what's the other place? They're like, that's a nice place. That's the nice wanking area. Like, this is the place for the degenerates.
On the same day? Is this the same day? Were you being sent to the same thing? You have to perform twice, or is this
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So 2 days between.
That's good recharge time. Yep. Okay.
Right. So you gotta let the troops sort of restock essentially. So they call up they don't call up. Like, they send it to the doctor. The doctor's like, yeah, you're fine. Like, just go to the next place.
Gotcha.
So you go to the next place, and the next place is so nice. It's like a spa. Like, you walk in, everything's like exposed timber, and there's a little fucking diffuser going, and there's music, and everyone there's really happy because they've passed sort of stage one. They've passed like the audition. You know, remember in Australian Idol where you'd walk in there? This is before you get to the grand stage. Before you get your own green room, like, you've got to walk in, you've got to stand in line with your little fucking number and be like, okay, yep, here.
So you got Mark Holden, who's just like, all right, yeah, we've got your semen sample. You're all good to go.
Get up there in that room and jerk off in front of 3 judges, and then they say, okay, well, you can go. You go through. So you go to the next place, and there's no wank tube there. Like, it's all very nice, but the problem, let me tell you.
Oh no,
there are several problems. I had several problems. Problem number 1 of masturbation station, the clinical one, was there was a chair in the room, and the chair was made of fabric. I could not get it out of my head. I was just like,
no coverings.
Why? Who made this decision that this was the only piece of furniture that was in here? I had no intention of sitting on anything to get it done.
Right.
But the fact that it wasn't an option. I mean, it was an option, but how much do you hate yourself to sit on a fabric chair in a room that everyone jerks off?
And you're aware of the history of this place. Just like,
oh, absolutely. Like, there's only one thing that happens in these rooms. It's whacking off. It doesn't alternate between a masturbation station and like a mahjong room. Like, it's like people only go in there to jerk off, right?
So we've
passed the audition, and we're on to like the more performative episodes, where I get to go on stage and I get my own green room. Right. So
you're getting the backstory now. That they've given you the backstory. You get the backstory story. Yeah. You've progressed through the stages.
I've already told them about my rough upbringing.
Yeah. They've got you through.
I've shed a single solitary tear in the green room. So you walk out there, and this wank tube, this masturbation station is so much better. There's like a dimmable light. There's a lockable door. Like, you're at that level where the trust is there. Like, you can lock yourself in if you want to, as opposed to the other one. There was no lock on. Because anyone could have just fucking burst in there. And be like, you wank, get in here. Are you done yet? How's your wank? So you go in the nice room, and so this is where things kind of went a bit sideways for me, because I got a little bit. I felt like I was watching, like when you watch National Geographic and you get kind of caught up in like this life that you're not a part of. You go, I don't see lions in the wild often, and you just end up watching it, and you're like, wow, like I've never really watched like about deep sea jellyfish, and you're like really into it. The reason I'm talking about this is because whoever compiled that collection of materials had a type, and that is not a type that I have deep dived on before.
Right. So you've got a selection of adult material to assist with the journey.
You've got a mounted TV.
Oh,
you've got a remote control that's in effectively like a Ziploc bag, which I assume is just absolutely saturated in jizz.
Oh God!
And I'm there, and I'm like clicking through this material, and I'm like, as a modern day man, I've never partaken in this
Category.
this category before.
Uh-huh.
And then I found myself scrolling through, and then, you know, the fast forward, you see the clock quickly turning around. The camera pans up to the clock and many moons pass. But I got to there and I found, you know, something that was all acceptable, don't get me wrong, but it was very specific. Like it was a highly specific thing. And I came out and I actually asked, because that's who I am.
Yeah.
And I was like, so a couple questions about what's happened in there.
Here's the brown paper bag.
Yeah, here's my brown paper bag. And they've gone, oh my God, like, geez, you've been in there for hours. And I was like, well, how many times did you want me to jerk off? So I asked, I said, so couple of questions. Like, do you have themed base rooms? Like, is this like a bit like a red light district?
Right.
Do you have theme-based room? Did you look at me and you were like, this guy's going to fucking love this? Like, he's like, I just know it. He's got the fever. Let's send him in there. They're like, no, like it's the same materials everywhere. I said, follow-up question. Follow-up question to question number 1. Who is in charge of your materials and how much do they get paid? And they said, oh, well, you know, we've got someone that compiles materials. It's not their only job.
Right.
I went, well, that's a shame because,
how many dream jobs are there?
Where do I apply?
But yeah.
And I said, you know it's all one category, right? And I said, what do you mean? I said, it's all one category. It's like one thing. And that's when I heard one of the greatest stories of all time about the masturbation station, the wank chamber, the wank tube. There was a very generous local man who was a very frequent donor, and he would go in there and he'd donate his seed to people that required it, which is an awesome thing to do. But he was a gay man, or is a gay man. I think he's still alive. And he requested specifically for some of his own materials to be woven into the mix.
Yes.
Which nurses, they are happily obliged. Here he is, the king. He's entered the building again. Let's give him what he needs. He's given us these amazing, powerful swimmers. But that ruined it because they just blended it in with the rest of the materials. So you had a bunch of straighty 180s like me come in, have a little scan through and go, when do the girls come in?
Oh, no.
When are they going to come in? So they had a lot of failed.
The boys were warm. The boys were warming each other up for the girls when they arrived. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So exactly I guess my follow-up question to you is, what was that helpful in any way? Like, did you accidentally discover something about yourself? Or
I've got a type now. Like, this is the issue. Like,
you've got it's like situational.
Now I have a type. It's awoken something inside of me, and that's all I can get off to now. So anyway, we'll move past the masturbation station.
Gotcha.
So I've handed the cup over, and then they take it and they run it through the machines. And what was really interesting between wank number 1 and wank number 2 was my count absolutely skyrocketed. Like, it went through the roof. Wank number 1 was all right. It's passable. It's fine. And they were just sort of like, yeah, that's okay. That's a good wank. Well done. That's what they said at the counter. They're like, yeah, that's a good wank.
Yeah,
that's
good
fine.
job. Yep.
Wank number 2, masturbation number 2, the numbers were out of control. And they actually had to thin it down before they put it in the single-use straw into my wife, because they were like, this is too much jizz. Like, that's too much.
Oh no! And I guess to come full circle on all of this is that the conclusion of this process is that they basically take your apparently excessive ability to produce and do some sort of miracle stuff and then place it into
So this is probably the weirdest part about the whole process is I kind of assume you drop trowel, you blast off, you handball in the cup, and then they put it in the syringe, and then they put it up the tube, and then it goes in your wife. They don't do that. Like, they tell you to fuck off for an hour. You've
done your bit.
And then they're like, go and get a sandwich and a coffee and come back, and then we'll do the rest of it. I'm like, what are you doing with it between then and then? Like, I felt very attached to it. I'm like, usually this just goes down the drain. Like, what are you doing with it? And so they put it in the machine, and they apparently they sort of like spin off all the weird ones, and it's sort of swimming in circles, and like they kind of just leave the Spartans in there, you know, the good ones. And yeah, you come back, and then wife goes in the sort of stirrups, and then they like weave it in, and everyone's trying to not talk about what's going on. It's all very agricultural. And that part of it's over and done with in like 2 seconds. Yeah. It's a very, very quick part of it. So the longest part of it is they're very stringent on asking, what is your name? What is your date of birth? What is your partner's name? What is your partner's date of birth? And the level of intensity of those questions says to me, oh, that baby batter went into the wrong home at some point.
Oh, no.
Not laughing at that?
No, that's a very serious thing.
Life is cruel and hilarious and unfair.
That'd be pretty funny.
And there is nothing funny about a laughing clown. So anyway, jizz goes in tube goes in wife, and you watch it on the screen.
They've got like an ultrasound or something, do they?
Outside of sitting on fabric chairs and plastic-covered remote controls and dimmer switches and incense and plastic, brown paper bags full of jizz, the strangest part of the artificial insemination process is they've got the ultrasound on the tum at the time. So you see the jizz go in. Like you witness it on the screen. Like you can see it happen.
Wow.
And it's the weirdest. It's like, you know, you're not meant to see that, right? There's something about seeing that and you go, I'm not meant to be here. You know, it's like, you know, you're sitting in the staff room while the teachers are all having lunch. You're kind of like, I'm not meant to be in here.
Has science gone too far
about this?
Well, it's resulted in a baby.
It's resulted in a baby. And the fun fact about this entire equation is that we were 24 hours away from starting IVF.
Wow.
When we found out my wife was pregnant.
Yeah.
Look, it's a leg up. We're very grateful to not have to go through the IVF process, not because there's anything wrong with it, but because it's clearly a hugely grueling process. To be able to avoid that, we're very, very lucky.
That's a wonderful way to conclude the episode, is that...
Hang on, aren't you going to talk about how you impregnated your wife?
No. I think
that's secretly my type. What do you think the materials were?
Well, all those selfies I sent you. No, I think...
No wonder they thought I would like it. Like, do you know this guy, Alex? You're going to love his stuff.
Got this special category, minutes and minutes of material.
So good.
I think that's a perfect space. I don't want to give away too much. I think that's perfect. I think it's a great place to stop the episode for now. We'll continue this journey as we go along, as our partners go through the journey, and as we go through the journey as well. And of course, we are going to get guests on who are going to make sense of it all for us from different parts of expertise and lives and everything, just to give us some context around the world of having babies and all of that. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to share with your friends and family, leave us a review, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find the My Friend Had a Baby podcast streaming wherever you find podcasts. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode. And Scott, thank you so much for sharing your wank tube stories. And
you're welcome. Anytime.
And anything else before we go?
Often can't shut me up about it.
I look forward to seeing your Google reviews as they come in. All right, we'll see you in the next episode.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Scott.